Welcome to Hired Podcast. Let's talk about AI in recruitment and talent attraction with our guest Printzell Halvorsen, CEO of Vend.
So I'm sitting here with Printzell Halvorsen, CEO in Vend. Very interesting Nordic focus, but also have had a global scope in marketplaces, and especially interested for us is within recruitment.
Yes.
So I thought you maybe could give a short introduction of yourself.
Yes, thank you. Happy to be here and talk about some interesting topics with you today. So, as you said, yes, I'm the CEO of Vend, marketplace company working in the Nordics within four what we call verticals or categories. It's mobility, it's real estate, it's re-commerce and jobs. And that's what we're here to talk about today. And I have quite a long history of working in marketplaces.
Yeah, as I said, especially focus for us today is to talk about recruitment, especially AI in recruitment. I know that you internally spend a lot of time to dive into AI and already started to implement it in several parts of your business, and also thinking about all the time how to utilize AI also going forward. I think I'll start with a very open question. So how do you see the role of AI basically transforming the traditional recruitment process? Some perspectives for you on how is the changes happening at the moment, and maybe what you see in the future?
Absolutely. I think it's quite interesting because, as I said, we operate within these four verticals and we apply AI to all of them. But what I notice very clearly is that jobs and recruitment is the area where it's, let's say, most unstructured data in the form of texts. It's role descriptions, it's advertisements, it's CVs, it's application letters, and so on. While when you're in mobility, for example, you have a car. It has certain very strict features, horsepower and size and so on. But in jobs, it's more unstructured, and that's actually what AI is very, very good at processing, right? So I actually think that AI is, and we see that within our services, this is where we use AI, or have come the furthest in using AI.
Okay, interesting.
Just because of that.
Yeah, because I thought it might be the other way around.
No, it is, I think it is actually, that's when you can use AI to draw out information that is otherwise harder to do.
Yeah, and especially then, and if we talk about the direction, I think especially when we're talking in scale and in volumes, and I think that's one of the concerns when we're talking, for example, with especially with recruiters, maybe that they will see a surge in number of applications, how they are written, that they improve dramatically because the research requirement to actually apply for a job and find a job is dramatically going down.
Absolutely. I think we're seeing this already to some degree, that AI is being used not only by recruiters, but maybe even more by candidates, right?
So far,
to write application letters, and it's easier for you to apply because you can just say to ChatGPT that update my application letter to this role or something like that, and of course then the volume will be higher.
And do you already see? Yeah, you said you already see that to some degree, or?
I think so. It's a little bit hard from our point of view to know the numbers of it, but I'm pretty sure that that's what we are seeing.
And do you see that? How far have in your experience, the companies then, or the ones who's actually looking for talent, come in actually handling these increased volumes? How are they responding? Have they started to respond?
I think it varies. I mean, we focus on a relatively narrow part of the process. I told you this before the recording, that we focus on, let's say, the advertisement part of the process, not so much the selection process as such. But I mean, from the dialogue that we have with our customers, we see that recruiters are starting to use these technologies, but to some varying degree, of course, depending on the company.
But do you see any, again, maybe a little bit open question, but do you have any concerns about development or any trends, do you think, in terms of the screening, what we talked about before, also maybe then how you do the matching in terms of, what do the candidates see, and also that we alluded to also a little bit before here when we talked about the verification of candidates and what they're saying in terms of and how they're presenting themselves.
It's a little bit hard to say whether there should be concerns. I mean, there are new technologies, of course. Then you don't know exactly how it's going to play out. But I have generally a positive and open mindset to this. And I think that probably the upsides and benefits to using AI in recruitment processes outweighs the downsides if you use it in a responsible way. And that is, of course, up to players like us but also all the recruiters out there.
Because one concern could be that if the volume of applications increase dramatically, then you would need to rely more heavily on some kind of filters or help also to screen this.
Yes.
And then maybe the transparency of the process might be that it's going down and making the process more biased. Do you have any experiences with this?
Well, I think, to some degree, you're right. These AI systems are black boxes in a way, but I think that when they are used to, for example, let's say, screen or filter based on certain criteria, I think they can be quite good also at saying, why they did certain things. And you also asked about bias. That is, of course, an underlying concern, but and should be a concern. But we should also remember that human processes also have bias. Yes. So we're not comparing with a perfect process today. And in fact, I think that the AI can actually help reduce bias because you can actually tell it to be aware of it and make you aware of when there is bias in the process. We can just give one example from our own services. We have actually now created a tool so that when you insert an ad onto our system, it will point out where you have, let's say, non-inclusive or non-diverse language in the ad and tell you to correct it, to make it more inclusive and attract a more diverse candidate base. So I think it can actually be used to help out on those areas.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And also, if you combine it with what you said earlier on in terms of structured, unstructured data, maybe one of the processes where you have most unstructured data. Actually, I participated in the project. It was now 8 years ago that we did in Hired, and then we had a lot of CVs and applications from students. We got, I think it was more than 300 from all over the world. They participated in a kind of research project by submitting these. And then we had 10 recruiters who did the ranking versus 3 job ads. And then we had just a machine learning tool that could read the data as such and rank versus the needs of the, say, 8 positions. And then we had 10 recruiters looking through the ranking and see what did they like the most. Like, okay, what do they think is the best candidates? And there were actually 5 who chose the machine learning based ones, and this was 2018, so quite a lot less advanced than today.
Yes.
And then there was 2 that was undecided, and 3 that went for. So already at that time, and I think that had to do with this was students that was from all over the world. So it was basically very, very hard to do the ranking based on just reading CVs, and the machine learning part actually did that better because it used the strict rules and had a structure for what you were looking for basically in the job ads.
I think it's a very interesting example, and I think that AI can be quite good at picking out candidates that match certain requirements and so on. What is probably harder is that, you know, that there could be really good candidates that don't fully fit with the requirements, but they are still outstanding in some way that only an experienced recruiter can pick out. But who knows in the future what AI can do?
Yeah, so it's interesting part. Also then, but coming back to maybe the matching part in terms of what kind of job ads, and this is, I assume you have also technology, for example, for showing, you know, deciding what car to show me and what job ads, and it's an important part of your business. How far would you say the matching when you, how do you develop a profile, for example, for somebody coming in and looking for a new job? And do that? Do you, to what degree do you leverage AI in that structure versus your own algorithms that you built over time?
Exactly. That's a great question, and it's a topic that we have worked quite a lot on for a long time. I mean, over time we've had, of course, regular search. We've had recommendation algorithms that use, I mean, your previous browsing and search history and so on to pick out the right ads to match you with. But we have more and more now used AI for this. And we're doing two things. One is to create better profiles on the candidates. Some of that is coming from, you know, the candidate themselves creating a profile on our site, and we've actually found that you don't need a full CV. You can have a quite limited profile of what you have just done and what you're interested in and so on, and that is quite useful. And we can actually also enrich that profile based on what you have been looking at, what kind of job opportunities and so on. So that's one side of it, part of the matching to have a good profiles on the candidates. The other thing is that we have started to use natural language search instead of, you know, the old filter-based search. So because it is quite hard for candidates to find the right opportunities. But here you can actually chat with our service and just tell them with natural language that what kind of opportunity you're looking for, and then you get a result that matches with that, and then you can continue to say, well, a little bit more of that, then it should be in this region, and so on, and that is proving to be quite useful, and we see that those who use this, we call it smart search, they tend to convert a lot better to actually sending an application than those who use the old traditional search.
Okay, filter functions, yeah. So, but it sounds also when you're talking that you know, using more of the AI features maybe for the candidates who are looking for jobs than for the corporates that are advertising for and looking for talent, or is it?
So I would say we're using it for on both sides. So it is both to, you know, create the profiles for the candidates, but we are also using AI for the recruiters to help them create good ads, good role descriptions. And when they do, we help them write it with inclusive language and so on, but also based on what they have written, we can improve the style of the role description and extract kind of what are the key requirements for the job that helps with the matching. And then I think it's also, when it comes to the matching, I think it's the way we think about it is that it's both about matching, let's say, active candidates, those who go in and actively search for a role, but also the passive candidates, those who are not necessarily searching for a job, but they could still be relevant for an opportunity. And there we, of course, use what we know about them. And on our services, we are lucky to have you know, other categories as well. So you could come in and look for a T-shirt, but you're exposed to a relevant job opportunity, right? Which is one way of reaching passive candidates.
True. Yeah. Yeah, because I was curious how you were kind of, if you then were going outbounds, but you can actually use within your own marketplace, people looking for a car or looking for a t-shirt.
So we are doing both. We are both kind of doing it on our own site, but we are also using the same profiles to attract candidates on social media or news media and so on.
Yeah.
So it's useful for both.
In addition. Very good. One last question. I think I know also, so given that the size of Vend and you know that also you have international orientation. Do you see some differences in use of AI between different regions and different parts, or do you are the discussions more or less the same or just yeah?
Well, I think I mean. My perspective is mostly on the Nordics.
Yeah.
One thing that I do see is that, of course, if you look at the EU, it's quite a bit stricter on the regulation than other parts of the world. So in the EU, you have the AI Act. Which is actually coming into play when it comes to recruitment, because recruitment is considered a high-risk activity. So in the EU, there will be regulations related to AI usage within the recruitment process. Yeah. I think that is maybe one area that is different from if you compare to the US, for example. Or
yeah. Is that already in effect, or is it?
It is coming into effect next year.
Next year, okay.
Yeah. And now the regulators are figuring out how which parts of the recruitment process will be regarded as, let's say, the high risk, and which will and then have certain compliance criteria and so on, and which will not be that. Yeah.
Super. I think with that, I'll say thank you.
Thank you very much
for your time. Extremely interesting topic to discuss, and I go out with a positive note, I think, in terms of the opportunities with AI, and that it actually might create even more transparency and a way of structured, very unstructured data throughout the process, rather than being too concerned about biases.
Absolutely, and I would just encourage people to start experimenting and testing AI tools. They will not be perfect, but they will never be as poor as today, because they will only improve going forward.
Super, thank you.
Thank you.
Hired Podcast, your gateway to insights on talent attraction and the future of early careers recruitment.